ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله إن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن خير الأمور عوازمها وشر الأمور محدثاتها كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن مثل عيسى عند الله كمثل آدم خلقه من تراب ثم قال له كن فيكون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran tells us that the similitude of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the similitude of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. The similarity of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the similarity of Prophet Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. The example of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the example of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. Inna masala, the misal, inna masala Isa indallahi kamasali Adam. Because usually when Isa alayhi salatu wasalam was raised to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because many people believed at that time, not the real Christians, they said that he's been crucified, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replied, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ, he was not killed. وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ, he was not crucified. But رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ, he was raised to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives. And the question also was raised by the people that he was born without a father to a Virgin Mary, Maryam alayhi salatu wasalam. Then who was his father then? The answer to this question in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the answer. Inna masala, because they asked who was his father then? Isa alayhi salatu wasalam was born. Who was his father then? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a very intelligent answer in this ayah. Inna masala Isa indallahi kamasali Adam. Allah created Adam alayhi salatu wasalam without a father. No one asked that question then. Even the Christian didn't ask this. He was even created without a mother, both absent. The answer is Allah can create anything without anything. He is Allah. He is not dependent on asbab. He is not dependent on the nature, because this nature, this system is created by him. He is the creator of the system as well. Who was his father then? Allah answers. The answer to this question is another question, that who was the father of Adam then? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned many prophets in the Quran. This similarity Allah maintained. Allah mentioned many prophets in the Quran. Although the total number of prophets according to a narration is 124,000. Allah sent 124,000 prophets. And 315 of them are messengers. And 5, they are special prophets with special rank, with special authority. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was a messenger. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a messenger. Similarly, Lut alayhi salatu wasalam was a messenger. Yahya and Zikriya, they were prophets. So Allah sent 124,000 prophets. 315 of them were messengers. And Allah mentioned only 25 prophets and messengers in the Quran. We don't know the names of all the prophets and messengers, because Quran is this thick book. If the only all the names are mentioned, it would have been quite thicker. So Allah did not mention all the names of all the prophets. He subhanahu wa ta'ala chose some prophets to be mentioned, and only 25 prophets are mentioned in the Quran. You can say the role model prophets or some. And Prophet Adam alayhi salam, Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is the most mentioned prophet in the Quran. Prophet Adam alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned 25 times. Just the Prophet Adam is mentioned in the Quran 25 times. Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned in the Quran 25 times too. So Allah kept this similarity in the numbers. He mentioned both prophets. So Allah wants us to read the Quran and reflects on His ayat. So the ayat speaks themselves with the evidence that Prophet Isa and Prophet Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, they have similarities. And if no one asked a question about Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, why the question was raised by Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, inna masala Isa inda Allahi kamasali Adam khalaqahu min turab summa qala lahu kun fayakun. Allah only has to say be, kun, and He doesn't need any father, mother. All he just say and it is. So, as I said, Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned 25 times in the Quran. 11 times out of this 25 he is mentioned Isa, and rest of the number is mentioned Isa ibn Maryam, Al-Masih ibn Maryam. And this is another something which is unusual. Mostly we are called by father's name. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, just like Maryam alayhi salatu wasalam, is called Imra'atu Imran. So her father's name was Imran. And similarly, it is well known tradition that we are called by father's name. And Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the exception. Allah mentioned him by his mother's name. Wherever Allah mentioned his Isa alayhi salatu wasalam's name, he said Isa ibn Maryam, wa iz qala Allahu Isa ibn Maryam, Isa ibn Maryam, because this is the only exception. This is the only exception where Allah mentioned the name of the mother rather than the father. Because it is well known tradition, because it is mentioned in the Quran, ud'uhum li'abaihim, call people by their father's name, the real father, the biological father. Even if you have adopted someone, a child, the father's name, you cannot change the father's name. You cannot change biological father. It's the right of the father. Ud'uhum, this is mentioned, this is narrated in Surah Ahzab. Ud'uhum, actually this ayah has a background. When Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam adopted Zayd bin Harisa, he was a slave boy. Zayd bin Harisa radiyallahu ta'ala, his father's name was Harisa. Zayd bin Harisa was adopted son of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam changed his name to Zayd bin Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Prophet ﷺ was not a prophet yet. He was 35 years old, and Prophet ﷺ changed his name to Zayd bin Muhammad. When Prophet ﷺ became a prophet, later on the wahi came, change his name back. Ud'uhum li'abaihim huwa aqsatu indallah. This is the insaf, adl in the eyes of Allah, that fathers, the real fathers, they have the right. Children, they have the right to be called by their real biological father's name. Then Prophet ﷺ changed his name back, Zayd bin Harisa. So I mean to say, this is well-known tradition, and we all know that children, they are named by their fathers. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the only exception in the Quran, and surname is always the father's name. Usually the women, after they marry, they change, their name is changed to the husband's name. This is not something which is recommended in Islam. When Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha married to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she was still Aisha bint Abi Bakr. Her name was not changed to Aisha Muhammad. No. So again, fathers have ud'uhum li'abaihim. And it is okay, those who have changed, it's not a big deal. Scholars agree to this, it's okay. Because this name change is more the wife, the name change, the wife changing name is like more like a Western tradition, Western culture. It's not Islamic culture. It mostly came from probably America, where in the slave history, the names of the people who were enslaved, they were given the surname of their master. You know, all the Afro-Caribbean and African American, their names, their surnames are usually the name which is not their real father's ancestor's name. Because there was a slavery system in America. You know, you well-known story of Muhammad Ali, boxer. His name was Clay something. This Clay was his ancestor's, slave master ancestor's name. And he denounced this name. He said, I'm not, no more Clay. My name Muhammad Ali, that's it. So he didn't want to be called because he said, it reminds me this. So probably in the history, the women in the Western culture, they were treated like similar to the slaves, Allahu Alam. So this comes from Western culture, the name, while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ud'uhum li'abaihim huwa aqsadu indallah. But amazingly, Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned in the Quran by his mother's name, Isa ibn Maryam. And similarly, one of the reflection we can share here is Surah Saf, the first page, the first paragraph of Surah Saf, where two prophets are mentioned after each other, Prophet Musa and Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. Read Surah Saf when you go home. Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam and Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, both are mentioned after each other in the first paragraph. When Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned, they are both from the same nation, Bani Israel. Israel mean Israel Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam's name. Bani Israel, children of Israel, children of Yaqub, just like we are called Ibn Adam, Ya Bani Adam, O children of Adam. Khuzu zinatakum, Ya Bani Adam. In Quran we read this, Ya Bani Adam, quite a few times. O children of Adam. We are never see Ya Bani Hawa. So the children, the nation stems from father's name. Father has the right. And this is well-known tradition. In in Surah Saf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He mentions Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam addresses his nation. He says, وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ, when Musa said to his nation, O my qawm, O my nation. He is addressing his nation, O my nation. And when in the next ayah, Isa alayhi salatu wasalam mentions his nation, although they are from the same nation, Bani Israel. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam said, وَإِذْ قَالَ عِيسَى ابْنُ مَرْيَمْ يَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. He didn't say his qawm, because qawm, nation, it's because of the father. When Musa said, O my qawm, this means I am from your qawm, my father is from your qawm. But Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, when he addressed the same nation, although he was from the same nation, his mother was from the same nation, but he didn't say qawmihi. He said, Ya Bani Israel. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reflected the virgin birth of Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, even in the words, even in the phrase. If we ponder, if we pay attention to the wordings, the phrases, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, because then obviously when husband and wife marry, if the wife, for example, is from some other nation, from India, and the husband is from Arab, the children will be called Arabs, Ya Bani Adams, because it's the father. But in case of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah did not use the word qawm, the nation. Allah did not leave any doubt, because people might be confused. That nation, they always, in the recent, obviously, development, the Jews, they say that the children are from the mother. This is recent development. This is not historical or conservative idea. This is very new development, that they say if the mother is Jew, then the children are Jew. If the father is not a Jew, then the children are not Jew. This is something new development. This doesn't have any historical background. In a way, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was not Arab. He was from Egypt. Egypt was not an Arab country. Now we call it Arab. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was not Arab. He was from Israel, Bani Israel. But he married to a woman in Madian. She was Arab. Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam was Arab. So if this notion is accepted, that the nasl, the generation, stems from the mother side, then all the Jews, they should call themselves the Arabs, because the mother was Arab. But they call themselves Bani Israel, the children of Israel. One of the countries, Israel. They recognize, they introduce themselves from Israel, the father Israel, Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. So Allah, these are the few reflections. The time is very short. These are the few reflections from the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intelligently invites us to reflect on the birth of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. And do not be confused, as many of the people say that he is the son of God. A'udhu billah. Aqulu qawli hadha wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum fastaghfiru innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. Please move forward, fill the space before you start praying Sunnah. Jazakumullah khair.
Allah